6:30, so welcome to the Negaunee City Council meeting. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Kangas?
Here.
Councilmember Stagliano?
Here.
Councilmember Ilmenin?
Here.
Councilmember Smith?
Here.
Councilmember Karki? Councilmember Lalone?
Here.
Councilmember Howard?
Here.
Number 4, approval of agenda.
Motion to. Yeah.
Councilwoman Lalone.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. A second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Okay. Okay, number 5, public comment. 3-minute limit. So anyone willing to participate in public comment, please stand up to the podium, identify yourself, and you got 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bowers. My husband, Rusty Bowers, and I are here from the PAC board. We live at 442 West Bluff Street in Marquette. We're just here for the Vista update. If you guys have any questions that we can answer or anything we can clarify, we're more than happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else? I don't. Close public comment. Okay, we're at number 6. Unfinished business, nothing. Number 7, new business. 7.1, 2024 city budget.
Per City Charter Article 8, the city manager is to submit the proposed budget to the council at the regular meeting of September of each year. The proposed 2024 budget was handed out here tonight. At the meeting in which the budget is submitted, the council shall determine the place and time of a public hearing on the budget. Traditionally, that public hearing is held the first regular meeting in October of each year. Recommendation is to set the public hearing on the budget for Thursday, October 12th, 2023 at 6:30. Alternative, none recommended.
Any motion?
Make a motion to set public hearing for October 12th for the city's budget.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Against? Okay. So we got 7.2, 2023 tax rate request. Add to it, please.
The Negaunee City Charter, Section 9.6, sets the maximum real and personal tax rates to be levied upon property at 22.5 mils. Fiscal policy, the minimum levy for the city to be set at 22.5 mils when permitted by law. State law passed in 1978, MCL 211.34D, referred to as the Headley Amendment, provides for a rollback of otherwise permitted millage levies based upon a formula which considers increases in the taxable value of property from the previous year. Recommendation: approve the 2023 tax rate request of 16.6927 city, 0.9455 Parks and Rec, 1.4562 equipment, and 1.9416 streets improvement and rehab tax rate requests, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign it.
Any motion?
Make a motion to approve the 2023 tax rate requests as read.
Okay, any second?
Support.
Really no comment. This is annual requirement for the state of Michigan to set our tax rate, so gotta do it.
Tony?
I see no discrepancies or anything that concerns me here.
Anyone else? Okay, so, like we said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? 7.3, USDA Phase 1 Water Project, change order number 3.
The attached change order calls for an overall increase to the USDA Phase 1 Water Project, participating and non-participating, in the amount of $184,241.05. This cost increase is associated with curb contract and quantity adjustments. Recommendation, approve the change order as presented.
Get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the change order as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second that.
Okay, Craig, any comment?
No, sir.
Nothing here.
Anyone else?
What is the change order for? And it says curb contract, but what are we changing, or what are we upgrading,
Okay, Mr. City Manager, can you, take that question, please?
Sure, so Ann did read, it's for curb and quantity changes, so some of this has to do with, the project going on downtown where we took curb and sidewalk out. Some of this has to do with, some of the quantities on gravel, to replace some of the street beds that we've had to, replace because of the, type of material that was underneath. So this is quite typical of projects like this. If you recall, last month, we did have a change order that decreased the amount of the project by over $100,000. I think it was like 140 or 160, I don't completely recall. But this is something you'll see in projects like this, where you don't know what's under the ground sometimes. We also have some storm sewer that I believe that had to be fixed too, broken pipes and so on and so forth.
so it says curbs, a curb contract, so that's why I'm asking. You're talking about pipes and it says curbs.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you need any other further explanation, I just stated what it was.
Okay, so, I guess, with that, I guess with any project that's like this, there's gonna be adjustment here and there type of thing, so. That's, I guess that's all price of doing business, I guess, bottom line.
Is this all for the downtown area?
I believe that's my understanding, right, the city manager?
It's not all just for the downtown area. Part of it is, yes, it's for the USDA Phase 1 Water Project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that explanation, do you have anything? Councilwoman Long? Okay, with that, I've got two motions, so, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Eh,
Councilmember Stagliano,
Yes.
Councilmember Ilmenin,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Lalone,
Yes.
Councilmember Howard,
nay.
Mayor Kangas.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-4.
Let's move on to 7.4. USDA Phase 1 Water Project Draw number 10.
Enclosed is a resolution requesting USDA funding draw request number 10 in the amount of $417,041.32. There will also be a payment of $470,940.21 to Overstar for non-participating funds. UP Engineers $57,952.24, Overstar $359,089.08 participating, USDA draw, and $470,940.21 non-participating. Recommendation to approve USDA draw request number 10 in the amount of $41,000, 4132, and $470,000, 940.21 non-participating.
Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve the USDA draw request number 10 resolution in the amount of $417.41.32 and $470,940.21 non-participating.
A second?
Second.
Tony? Okay, any comment, Councilman Lowe?
It's just part of the process. Wait for the bill.
Tony?
Nope, same thing, it's part of what we gotta do, we voted to do it, so this is part of it.
Okay, anyone else?
What's the difference between participating and non-participating?
Can you take that, Mr. City Manager, between participating and non-participating?
Yep, just like last time, participating means it's stuff that is covered underneath the bond that the USDA will typically cover. Non-participating items such as pavement, we have to pay for 50% of the pavement that's gonna be part of this project, and other non-participating items during the USDA water project. Some of it is associated with the downtown project, but some of it's also associated with all the other, I believe, 10 streets that we've paved already as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I guess that, so I guess, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, that's. I guess I just reread it off the top. 7.5, water tower change orders. Again,
The City of Negaunee and Dixon Engineering have contracted Bettawa Inc. to perform safety upgrades and exterior coating on the water tank. Change order number 1 addresses the lettering on the water tank of $8,000. Change order number 2 addresses the delay in remobilizing due to the city's valve issues, $25,688. The project is expected to resume September 1st and be completed by October 27th. It is recommended by Dixon Engineering and city staff that the city accept Bettawa Inc. change orders totaling $33,688 for the water tower project. This would increase the water tower construction cost from $244,000 to $277,688. Fiscal effects: for 2023, $300,000 was budgeted for the water tower project. Alternative, none recommended.
okay, with that, can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the change orders as presented.
Second.
Okay. Dana? Any comments, Cody?
No, we obviously had some issues with the, shut-off valves going to the tower that we all witnessed with the ground being dug up around there, so I would expect there to be some additional cost due to that, so, makes sense to me.
We're still under budget. Thankful.
Okay, anyone else?
What exactly is the lettering? Is it still gonna say Negaunee, Irontown, USA on it, or?
I believe it is.
Yeah, I don't think we're changing
You
it.
don't think
Yeah,
you should-
there was nothing changed.
You guys approved the colors and everything
Yeah,
a
we
while
picked-
ago.
But
Pick
but
the
we don't,
colors, but we're talking about, the lettering.
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna be,
specifically listed here, and I'm wondering
it's
if
gonna be
we
black,
already
black,
picked
same
them.
black brick lettering, I believe.
yeah, it should be the same lettering that's on it. Just. Okay, so with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? 7.6, ladder truck pumper emergency repairs.
During yearly pump testing of our ladder trucks, several issues were found. Due to using the pump, if it is not repaired, it will cause further pump damage. These repairs are not budgeted. Recommendation: approve the estimate of $12,198.36 from Red Power Diesel to make these emergency repairs, with the money being paid out of the equipment fund.
I'll make a motion to have the pumper truck fixed for $12,189.36 from Red Power Diesel.
Thank you. Okay, I guess once, we gotta take care of our fire department, make sure they got materials to keep us safe, so. Gainer. Okay, so, any comment, Matt?
It's fire truck. We need it. We can't wait for it to break down when somebody's house is on fire, or their town's on fire, or whatever, so. Before it costs us more money for more damage, we might as well get it fixed.
Is this the only estimate? Is there only, because it's a fire truck, is it specific to a person, a certain dealer that has to fix it?
Could you handle that, city manager? I got the fire chief here too, maybe he can.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. So, in a typical situation like this is what we're considering an emergency. This vehicle is not operational now, and this is part of our normal maintenance, so it has to be inspected yearly. So it has failed that test. So that's why we've taken this measure to do this. And this is the company that typically works on all of our equipment. Rather than going out to bid, it wouldn't be classified as an emergency if we were to do that. So all this stuff was found out just in the last few weeks.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
How long until we get the truck back?
They're gonna come up here and fix it.
They're gonna fix it here.
That's the plan right now. They're coming next week to inspect it, to make sure they can handle it here, but that's the plan.
Thanks.
Anything else? Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? 7.7. Miller Road bids.
The City of Negaunee issued bids to receive place, grade, and compact gravel on Miller Road. Performing this work will make the road passable for garbage trucks, mail carriers, and residents, as well as prepare it for plowing season. 2 bids were received and are as follows: Ultra Construction, $25,494, Smith Construction, $30,150. There's currently $8,000 budgeted for this project. A drawdown of the general fund street maintenance of $17,494 will be needed to perform this work. Recommendation: city staff recommends to hire Ultra Construction to perform grading of Miller Road in the amount of $25,494. Alternative: no alternatives. Fiscal effects: in 2023, there was $8,000 budgeted for Miller Road. Approving the project will require a drawdown on the fund balance of $17,494.
Get a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, yes, go ahead, city manager.
I could address real quick. So that drawdown will happen first, and then we are going to submit a request for reimbursement by the state of Michigan, because this is associated with the winter storm that happened 2 years ago, and we do have an award waiting for us for monies to be allocated only upon receipt. And the only reason we haven't fixed it till now is because a secondary storm was declared, and we are also looking to seek funding for that as well. So this will make our account whole once we turn this receipt in to the state police.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve, the bid from Ultra Construction.
A second.
Okay, second. Hey, Toby, comment?
Nothing.
Yeah,
So this is considered, reimbursable disaster from the state. Is that what
I
you're saying?
heard, yeah.
Okay, so even though this is the budgeted amount, or what we're drawing down, we're initially gonna just get it back? Okay.
That's
good.
what I heard,
That's good.
yes.
Is this where we're looking to get $250,000 for Miller Road? Did I not read that somewhere in that packet that they're trying to get a grant for?
Yep. It's on the consent agenda, yeah.
I see.
So, anyone else comment?
I've been down that road a few times recently, and that we need to do this.
I guess, speak for myself, I've been down more than a few times myself, and even on police ride-alongs, we've been down that road, and yeah, it needs a little bit of TLC, so this is a good thing, so. So I guess with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against?
There it is. It's the old one. You just use this.
Oh, okay. I'm reading over your shoulder. Okay.
That's all right.
All right. Okay, 7.8, Jackson Mine Park Playground bids.
The city placed a bid for the Jackson Mine Playground project. Only one bid was received by Ventura LLC. The total proposed budget for this project is set at $260,000 in the 2024 budget. Several sources of funding currently exist for this project in the amount of $265,277. Recommendation award the Jackson Mine Playground project to Ventura LLC in the amount of $255,251, with funds to come from the Jackson Mine line in the general fund.
Motion?
I make a motion to award the Jackson Mine Playground project to Ventura LLC in the amount of $255,251, funds coming from the Jackson Park line in the general fund.
Second that.
Toby, okay. Any comment, Craig?
Billy, how's it going?
Okay, Toby?
Fully funded project, no brainer.
Okay.
Who seconded that motion?
Hey, Toby. Yep. Anyone else, comment? Okay, with that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay. Now, when's the
construction, when's the construction supposed to start?
You have Mr. City Manager, when construction may start on the playground?
Sure, we're hoping to start construction as early as the end of May next year.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 7.9, DDA ordinance amendment, member terms, first reading.
The DDA ordinance needs to be amended as DDA members' terms should be for 4 years, not 3. Recommendation, approve the amendment and set a second reading and public hearing for the October 12th, 2023 regular meeting.
Okay, so, I get a motion?
I motion to approve the amendment and a second reading and public hearing for October 12th.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Tony? Any comment, Dana?
Were you just good?
Tony? Nope. Okay. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay. Number 2, 7:10, Vista update. So, Mr. City Manager, can you provide us an update where we're at with the Vista and kinda go from there?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. So, we do have a background inside your packet. This kind of gives you a brief update to what we've been doing, at the city so far to prepare for the Vista Theater to be, transferred into our possession. Our attorneys are working with PAC, to finalize, the title over to us. Once that happens, then we will put insurance on the building, as we do with all our other buildings that we have currently. In addition to that, we are also working on a final agreement with the annex portion of the theater as well. Those terms should be coming to the October meeting. We just have to get some final thoughts here to figuring out what that's going to look like. I have talked to the County Land Bank Authority and given them permission to proceed on the roof and the cleanup of the building, which obviously will not happen until next year, but they still have engineering and other items they have to clear up first before anybody actually steps foot on that property. That grant, if you recall, was for over $435,000. So once they're completed, our hopes are that we'll be able to start on our side of the project with the $3 million check that we received as an allocation from the state of Michigan when the governor and our state rep were here in Negaunee a few weeks ago. Other than that, we're also finalizing how we're going to approach the public and other organizations discussing the actual function of that building. As stated by several members, it has to be more than just a theater. So we'll be looking at different ideas there and also soliciting some information from the public. And then lastly, Mr. Mayor, on here I also have indicated that I'm looking for some direction from the city council. I was asked by a council member at one point on whether a casino could be put in the theater, and I thought that I'd ask council members their thoughts before I asked the attorneys to actually look into this information and what that would possibly take. I have not had anybody from the community approach me about this or have this in our master plan or other planning, so I'm just looking for some direction from council, Mr. Mayor, before chatting with our attorneys.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we'll do here is, I'm not gonna suspend the rules. I'll just kind of go around the horn here and what you heard from the city manager, kind of give feedback, all right? And we'll kind of go from there. We're not making an action tonight, we're just giving feedback, okay? So when you're speaking, it's, unfortunately, you're speaking to the chair, sorry about that. But it's kind of the way the rules go. But I'll kind of start on, if I may. Yeah, I know it's the rebuilding and the reusage of the Vista Theater is obviously a concern to a lot of people. It's a historical building, and people would like to see it being used to its utmost potential. So, with that being said, there's a lot of avenues we can go down. But the one interesting one that kind of got me was the one at the end. I hear about the casinos, and to my understanding, like, we got $3.45 million in grant money, and that's directed toward the building pretty much going back to its original use. And like I talked to other people who are in the knowledge about this, they say if anything would be changed on this, the potential for us to lose is $3.45 million is great, because that grant would have to be rewritten. And that's not a guarantee. And also one more thing, if, like say for example, if it was turned into a casino, there's a lot of people around town who have concerns about parking. You say there's not enough parking as is right now in Negaunee, so add a casino into it. I don't really see how realistically, how it could go by. I'm not saying never say never, but it's, I guess like going record saying is I'm not a fan of that part of it. So, I guess I'll start going on the horn, so, Toby, you would?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, the monies that we received were for restoration of the Vista Theater back to a theater slash community building, not a casino. And quite frankly, I also haven't heard other community members who are interested in seeing a casino downtown. And I'd also agree with your comment on the parking. It's already hard enough to find parking downtown. But my personal opinion is to see the Vista Theater come back as the Vista Theater. That's all I've got.
Let's move along.
I am grateful for that grant money and looking forward to it to be back to the Vista, because I remember coming here when I used to live in Marquette a long time ago, just to go to the theater, and you wouldn't be able to get a seat at the pit because it would be packed. Like, it was a draw for businesses to have our theater, you know, in action, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to reopen. I know it's gonna take a little while, but maybe I'll be able to see, what is the Halloween production? The first one I ever saw, Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's the first time I saw it, was at the Vista, so I'm looking forward to it being brought back to what it was.
Mr. O'Leary?
Great grant, great amount of money. With that comes, in my mind, a small bit of concern as to, how that money is going to be monitored, right? I can tell you, if I came into $3.5 million, I'd probably frivolously be throwing hundreds around like you wouldn't believe, right? So we have to watch how this money gets spent. I couldn't be happier. I was the first one to say that we need to restore the Vista to its original luster. But what happens on the inside, with $3 million, I think some of that $3 million could go towards parking as well, right? We can formulate a plan for parking. If we want people to come to town, we want people to come to our new community, our downtown development, then we need to have a place for them to park. And with $3 million, I really believe, we can't just be having Rocky Horror Picture Show on the 27th through 31st of October and expect the ROI on $3 million to come back. It needs to be used 365 days a year. And if that's a casino, then by all means, I think that's the ROI we need to look for. That's all I have.
Okay, just take me on it. What? I guess is that even legal? I guess I have questions. I have questions about whether it's legal. Is there a private interest in putting a casino in this building, or is this looking to be a municipally run casino? Because with that seems to be like there would be a lot of legality, a lot of problems, a lot of things that I wouldn't really want to mess with there. I don't know. So, I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel that we should, continue to pursue what PAC's plan was in the beginning. I think that PAC had worked with a consultant previously before the roof collapsing. There was a plan in place, a plan to make the Vista profitable and to make the Vista more than just where we were having plays there, for 1 week out of the year, or a couple of weeks out of the year. I think there was a plan. I'd like to see that plan. I'd like to see, you know what I mean? I'd like to develop that. That seems to make more sense to me. I have a lot of questions about whether or not that's even a reality, a legality thing. I don't know. I guess, I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't think that's in the same direction as I guess what our intended direction is with the renovation of downtown. I don't think a casino fits into that. I'm not against casinos.
But I personally don't think a casino working in the Vista, and run by the city itself, I'm not sure about that, so that is, I don't think so, I don't wanna pursue that. That's my call.
Okay. Councilman Howard?
Well, I'm not ashamed to say that I am the one who suggested that. I don't wanna see the Vista go on the outside. I think it's a historic building, and I'd like to see it stay. But if it stays, it has to be something that is self-supporting, and a theater will not be self-supporting. And when you start talking about a theater versus a casino and parking, well, either way, you need a hell of a lot of parking. So that's a problem we gotta overcome regardless, okay? Now, I don't know if the city could have a gaming commission. I know you can have a casino in Detroit, and that's a city in Michigan, just like Negaunee is. And some of them are privately owned, some of them are corporately owned. I don't know, like I say, I don't know if the city could have a gaming commission and end up helping to lower our taxes and utilities, or if we could open the idea to somebody on the outside who would come in with $10 million to sink into the Vista and, you know, maybe put a gaming floor, but you'd have some kind of eatery, maybe some motel rooms upstairs, something, who knows? But I do know, no matter what goes in that Vista, if it's not self-supporting, we're gonna continually be paying the lights, be paying the heat. 20 years from now, it's gonna need a new roof. How long are we gonna pump life support into this building before we say the building has to support itself along with all the employees that work there? You know, regardless of what you're doing, if you're selling tickets and making popcorn, then people want 15, 20 bucks an hour too, you know? So I'm just like thinking, what can we do to get people to come into Negaunee, spend their money, be happy they spent their money, and then leave? You know, come enjoy yourself for a long weekend or whatever, and maybe it would help us in a step towards getting more motels or a decent campground or something. You know, like, I'm sure we all know people who go to the casino every weekend. Some people know people go to casino every day, and it doesn't matter, they'll drive to Marquette, they'll drive to Baraga, Munising, Escanaba. So the money's getting spent. If we can farm some of that money, why not? If we legally can. I'm not trying to break any laws, I'm just saying, you know, how do we get this thing to keep itself going?
Obviously be an issue between the tribe, you know, between lands, you know, tribal land and all this type of things, for which I don't really know nothing about, but that's something for your terms to deal with, so. But,
Mr. Mayor?
I guess with that,
Yeah,
city
so-
manager,
I just wanted to break in, it sounds like there's a general consensus that, the council does not want our attorney researching this. So thank you for your comments.
okay, thank you. Okay, number 8, consent agenda. 8.1 minutes, August 10th, regular minutes, August 22nd, special minutes, August 29th, special minutes. 8.2, claims and accounts. 8.3, revenue expenditure reports, estimated trial balances. 8.4, state disaster contingency fund grant resolution. 8.5, winter sand bids. 8.6, public participation plan report. It's a lot of keys. All those in favor of consent agenda, say aye.
Well, I need a motion.
Oh, we need I'm sorry. I was fixed on spelling things properly. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second that.
Second, Tony, Cody. Comment?
All in favor?
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, public comment, second public comment, 3 minutes, public comment. Feel free to step up to the podium, identify yourself, and you got 3 minutes. Come on, Rusty.
Rusty Butler, president of PAC, 142 West Bluff Street, Marquette. My comments on the Vista restoration, our restoration plan was a little more than the 3 million, but with the 3 million, most of that can still be done. There was renovation for the building next door to add a dance studio the size of the theater. The problem with the theater itself is when you rehearse a play for 6 to 8 weeks, when you're in the building, you've taken out that entire 6 to 8 weeks that you can't make anything in the building. One of the plans was to build a dance studio next door so you could rehearse the play and have movies and other events going on in the theater year-round so that you could draw people to downtown to help the economy. Because if you have a draw for downtown for movies, musical events, touring companies that come in, if it's all planned out and scheduled out, you can have things running there every month so that you can actually make money in the theater. And if you're gonna do plays 4 or 5 times a year, if you're rehearsing next door, you only need the theater for the 2 weeks for Tech Week and the show. So there is a plan, and I have the actual new revised, at least the first part that I can give to you, with the equipment that's needed, the prices, the current prices for everything, so that you have an idea of what things are gonna cost. And I mean, you need to have at least a certain level of equipment there for anyone to come in, because they're gonna have certain needs for lighting, for sound, for things like that.
Got about
And-
30 seconds, Rusty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's it. I'm gonna present this to you guys, so you have that. And there is a plan.
Oh, okay,
And
thank you, Rusty.
You wanna
I just have,
Only one comment per last name.
go?
I say that out loud.
the 2 things that I have to say is, number 1, that is part 1 of the plan. He's actually compiling some other costs for building and stuff, but this is mostly equipment, what you would need to put in the building in order to make it a functional, not just a theater, but an auditorium space. And you do wanna bring other events here, to Negaunee. I would think that would be awesome if you could, if the Negaunee City Band or Negaunee Male Chorus had a place to go inside that they could just rent from the city, that'd be cool. And then the other thing is, we really wanted to be, I brought it up before, we'd really love to help raise money for the theater to function. In other words, we'd like to be able to create an account, raise money, put a certain amount, like if we have an event, put a certain amount of percentage of that event proceeds into that account, and then have the city be the fiduciary, done over. We'd like the opportunity to at least discuss that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else? Okay. Close the public comment. Okay. Council members, so, let's start with Tony.
I just, my comments tonight are, I wanna reiterate again that, PAC has had this building for, the Vista building for a really long time. I think, I think it would be a travesty if we didn't give them, first right of following through with their plan, trying to implement, trying to at least plead their case. I think, I do agree that, if the Vista were a venue where we brought in, from regional and national talent and sort of things like concerts and stuff like that. I think there are other communities throughout the Upper Peninsula, such as Calumet, the Crystal Falls, Iron Mountain. I think they're doing their theaters right, and they can be a revenue generator. So I want to reiterate my support for continuing on that plan. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I mean, Tony kinda stole my thunder there.
Sorry.
No, I mean, to your point, the PAC does have a document in front, that we've got a plan that's already laid out, that can turn this into a self-sustaining entity. I think to Lisa's point, the city is probably, if we own the building, it's our fund to deal with. We are probably responsible for the accounting, bookkeeping, all that other stuff related to it at that point. So I'm sure that side of it can be accounted for. Back to the idea of trying to get into a heavily regulated endeavor such as a casino. In the last, 8 years ago, we folded our cable company. We couldn't make that work, even though we already had the infrastructure in place. I don't know why we would begin to think now that we could work our way into a heavily regulated industry such as gaming. So to that point, I'm all in favor of going all in on with the PAC, their plan here. It from what I've heard so far sounds very solid. I would like to get a copy of that report. I don't know if we can scan it, or do you guys have an electronic version?
I think so, and more can be made. Stuff was made for our
Yeah.
members, but we can make more.
If you've got an electronic
The
version,
file
that
is
could
so
be,
big, we could scan it. The
Okay.
file is so big, the way it is,
Oh,
that
is-
we'd have to scan it.
Member, this
Thank you.
is council comment.
but I guess my ultimate point is I would like to see us continue to work with PAC towards the ultimate goal of restoring the Vista Theater.
Okay, that was my bad there, so
I-
sorry about that.
I initiated it,
No,
Mr.
no,
Mayor.
that's on you. Okay, Councilman Howard?
Well, I guess when it comes to the Vista, it seems like PAC is dug in like a tick on a hound here. Like, if we bought the building for $1, so the city would own it and could do what we thought was best with it. But now we're talking about all the bunch of equipment we need to buy to make it a functioning theater. Like, we haven't even got the hole in the roof fixed yet. I'm kinda surprised that all these volunteers, nobody was down there cleaning out the garbage and everything else. Like, I don't know why somebody hasn't sunk their own money into it. Another thing, when you got your packet, I'm sure you noticed that there was paperwork in it from the sale of Jackson Grove. The sale is dated multiple times from what I can tell, but January of '21. They had 18 months to have a building, a house with an occupancy permit built in that 18-month period. We're past the 18-month period. When they bought it, we were well into COVID, so there's no reason to say, oh, well, we couldn't get this material, we couldn't get that material, whatever. They knew there were shortages, they knew there was delays. And I'm wondering why we haven't stuck to the agreement of taking it back. And now, I mean, they're out there moving dirt, finally moving dirt, 20 plus months into this thing? Or is it more than 20 months? Probably more than 20 months, isn't it? Yeah. 30 months? So, that's a big concern of mine, especially, you know, for what the lot sold for. I know there's a lot of residents expecting a big cut in their taxes because they found out their property is not worth near what the city's been taxing them on it. So, I guess that's all I got to say for now.
I'm very excited about the Vista, the grant, and seeing the renewal of that and having it become a theater again and an area for community vending, for our youth. I would much prefer that over a casino, cause I wouldn't want my kids working at the casino. And I feel that Negaunee is a family-oriented city, and I don't see how a casino, that I've not heard that from other people like in our community, that they want a casino there. The majority of the people that talk to me, they wanna see it back to being the Vista. That's my comment on that. Other than that, I've been walking around and driving everywhere and looking at the construction and looking forward to the sidewalks getting laid down downtown, and, it looks great. It seems like they're going really fast on the rest of the construction, and, I look forward to that being done. And, I'm hoping to address Councilman Howard, if the city manager or lawyer can address that, because we've all voted on these things regarding that property that he's talking about, the state construction, and allow these extra things to happen. We've already voted on those.
Is that it?
That's it.
I missed you, Craig, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I would just like to say thank you to the Negaunee Fire Department. I go to a gas station here in Negaunee every single morning, and on the morning of September 11th every year, I look forward to seeing them out there with that flag. 22 years, you know, I remember exactly where I was 22 years, 3 days ago. I think we all do. And to me, seeing that flag every September 11th, it's awesome to see them out there, remembering still 22 years later. So, thank you to the fire department. That's all I have.
On the September 11th thing, I was doing building clearing up in the attic of Marquette Prison. And dirty, dusty, old rotten place. And we got done, so you're all dirty and sweaty. And I remember the officer in the guard post, he lowered the hook down, was put the key on so he could raise it back up. He said that one of the twin towers was hit. And he's like, well, what do you mean by that? So when we got back inside, when the second tower was hit, it was like the prison erupted in joy type of thing. So that's my memory of September 11th. It was like, it's wonderful what's happening. So but I'm not saying here nor there, but that's my biggest memory of September 11th. So, but like Craig said, I want to say thank you very much to the fire department for all the efforts you do for us, and especially that good Christmas party you put on for us. See, guys, the service that was on is really good. And so I guess on that, really, I have a whole lot more to say, really. Pretty much everything else has been covered, so. Mr. City Manager, do you got something you want to wrap up with?
Sure. I just want to make a note. I believe Ann has already or will be reaching out to each of you. We'll be doing a walkthrough of the downtown streetscape enhancement project and also the substation, just to show you where that money's going and where the project lies at that point. In addition to that, you will see that there is a traffic control ordinance in your packet for review. There will be a presentation done on it at the next meeting with potential first reading for a hearing to be scheduled. More information will come on that. And to answer, I guess, Council Member Howard and Malone's question to the property that Mr. Snap owns, I will have the attorneys put together a memo on that situation for you to have in your next packet next month.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. City Attorney, anything?
I've got marching orders.
No, okay. I guess with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Howard, a second.
Yes, second motion.
Mr. Lindsay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.